Herb-wise, there's a couple of different thought processes. There's a number of herbs like hawthornberry that are very helpful. And it's funny, we have to be careful because hawthorn can affect blood pressure in a good way. So you want to make sure you don't lower the blood pressure too far. I tend to use the fruit rather than the leaf and flower, and it's a subtle difference. And in Chinese medicine, we tend to only use the fruit. We use it for what's called food stagnation. Food stagnation, although part of that is just bad digestion, we also see that food stagnation has an affinity to elevated cholesterol levels. And so when I think of cholesterol, its presence in itself, because it's naturally occurring in the body, is not an issue. It's when it starts to stick to stuff, right? It starts to clog the arteries. Now we've got an issue. Like, that's dangerous and will kill you. And so for me, that's dried phlegm. So inflammation, a hot thing. Our body is putting this substance on the walls of the veins and arteries in order to kind of plaster up the repair. If we're going to break that up, we have to moisten it and then move it along. And so I think the hawthorn fruit, whether you use Western or Chinese, does a better job. I actually prefer the Chinese hawthorn berry, which is shansa. And yeah, she'll take that in there for you. She's got it. Also, things that are bitter, and I know you had said that he was doing some bitter things. So, milk thistle, seed and or leaf, but I would say any thistle will do. You know, we talk about herb of commerce a lot, and somebody came in today and said, "Do you have white oak bark?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do." I was like, "But you see, there's an oak tree right out there. You could just go and get that, and it's free." And they look at me like I'm crazy. And so instead they drop $5 for oak bark, which literally they could have gotten it for free for pretty much any oak tree. So in the case of thistles, milk thistle is the one of the herbs of commerce that's specifically good as a cholagogue. It's good for the liver and gallbladder. And I like the seeds because they are moistening. But the leaf is equally as effective for cholesterol, overall liver health. And again, I'm going to use a very imprecise term, but it's one we like to use to decongest the liver. So we talk about the gallbladder getting sludgy, the liver gets sludgy too. It literally gets congested, and we oftentimes see that in the case of elevated cholesterol. But one of my favorite thistles, and I've prescribed this so often for elevated cholesterol, is artichoke. And everybody forgets that artichoke is a thistle. It's literally, that's the flower of the thistle, and we pull off all the leaves. And if you're dipping it in butter the way I like it, then you're not helping yourself that much. But it may not be the healthiest of fats in drawn butter, because I just drink the butter personally. But you can buy, you go to the olive bar, you can get the bottled up artichoke hearts. That is extremely effective. And adding that in every day. And for a lot of people, like, I can sit down and eat 5 or 6 of those happily, throwing those into salads and stir fries in my pasta, whatever. And so you're getting a massive amount of thistle into your food that is so specific for decongesting those clogged arteries and the liver being congested, and without a doubt will start to lower those cholesterol levels. The other thing that I think is really effective, not everybody's cup of tea, but okra is magic. And so most of us, our experience with okra is this deep fried snot stick that may not be everybody's cup of tea. I'm going to say the deep fried part of it makes it definitely not healthy. Here in Florida, and I imagine throughout the Southeast, I don't know about further up north, it's one of our summer crops, and so it's very easy to grow. And when they're still young, like maybe 2 or 3 inches, I don't like the really snot fest kind of ones, but raw, the smaller okra just eating fresh is wonderful. It's extremely yummy to pickle it, and you can buy pickled okra, or literally take your pickle jar and throw some okra in there and wait a couple weeks, it's pickled. And so that takes a lot of that snot phlegminess out of that. And the other thing, I know we found it in the grocery stores here, you can get okra chips. And so they're just thinly sliced and dried, and those are very mild. And so that is also perfect for decongesting the liver and to soften up those cholesterol that's starting to stick to the walls. And I've seen great success in using that in order to lower those cholesterol rates.